perhaps one of the most important control structures is an if statement, a conditional statement that we call if. And this is an important control structure in almost all scripting languages, or at least all the scripting languages that I know of personally. So let's take a look at that now. Now the basic components are an if, a then, and an and declaration. Now by putting in all these components, you've created a couple of different areas where you can type things. Now we could think of these as sandwiches or boxes or slots or whatever you like, but basically you can put your condition or conditions in between the if and the then declaration. Now this is where we can use our and as well as our or operators to create multiple conditions. We could say if 5 is greater than 3 and 4 is less than 7, for example. You could even, the sky's the limit, you could keep going with that. If 9 is greater than 6, and all these things would have to test to be true in order for whatever we type in this area here, where I'm typing code goes here, to be executed. If all 4 of those statements there, for example, weren't true, then it wouldn't execute. In this case, let's start with a smaller, simpler example. Let's just say if 5 is greater than 3, then. Okay, so we know that in this particular case it's going to go ahead and test true. Let's type a dialog message action in here and duplicate one of the examples that we had in our last video lesson, or in one of the video lessons we just did. We'll say dialog message result, and then in here we'll say 5 is greater than 3. Okay, so that's a simple example of an if statement, a conditional statement, and in this particular case you can see that the integral parts are highlighted in blue, the if, the then, and the end. The actions editor here automatically recognizes those and structures them out like that. Now important to note here is that within the if statement you can have as much code as you want. You don't have to restrict yourself to one action like that. But let's go ahead and publish this and just take a look at the results. Okay, if I run this, you'll see I get the 5 is greater than 3. I'll press OK, it's going to exit, and we'll look at our script again. You can see it tested to see if 5 is greater than 3, then, and it goes ahead and runs that action. Now if we change those around, if we said if 3 is greater than 5, what do you think would happen? Let's go ahead and run it and see. As you can see, nothing happened. When we ran it, it just closed because it tested to be not true, or false, if you like. Now let's take a look at the other aspect of the if statement that I was showing earlier, where we were actually just checking to see if a value was set. So we'll go ahead and say here my variable equals 6. Okay, and then we'll say if my variable, and we're not going to put any conditions or operators in there. We'll just say if my variable, then we'll say result my variable is set. That means that the variable has been initiated. Okay, let's go ahead and publish that and take a look. And here we go. It says my variable is set, and as we know it is because we initialized it. But what will happen if we actually just remove that so that the variable is not set? Let's take a look now. Go ahead and publish that, and this will be our final part of our if statement demonstration. Again, I encourage you to go through and fool around with them a bit yourself and see how they work, but as you can see, nothing happened. Okay, so if we go back, we'll take a look at why is that. Well, the reason that is because it says if my variable, which it's basically testing to see if that variable has a value in it. In this case it doesn't, and so the action is not executed. So that's the if statement. Now another powerful portion of the if statement is the if-else portion, so where we can create multiple conditions, where we can say if this condition is true, then do this, else if this other condition is true, do that. So let's go ahead to the next video tutorial and take a look at the if-else statement.